Social media star Kylie Jenner and her boyfriend and baby daddy Travis Scott fell into controversy over the last week for a post that they shared on their Instagram. Kylie Jenner posted a black and white photo of the two standing on the tarmac in between their two private jets with the caption, "You want to take mine or yours?" The photo also showing off their Rolls Royce that was parked nearby. Opinions on the picture were split right off the bat, some people saying that it was goals and Kris Jenner commenting, decisions. I guess those are the sort of tough decisions you have to make when you're mega rich and famous. Others, however, immediately took to social media to criticize the couple for being climate criminals, so let's talk about that. The post ended up with 8 million likes and more than 47,000 comments. One of the top comments said, "Why do I have to limit my meat consumption and use paper straws while the 1% gets to pump tons of carbon into the atmosphere for a day trip to Palm Springs?" With global warming and climate change becoming more and more talked about in the media, one of the most common ways that is suggested to fight it is using paper straws and less plastic. Many people often commenting on the fact that paper straws will have no impact while large corporations are the main contributors to climate change. Other comments on the post said things like, "Your waste of gas emissions or mine," and "Maybe take neither and reduce your carbon footprint." A carbon footprint being the total greenhouse gas emissions put out by one individual. In just 1 hour, a single private jet can emit more than 2 tons of carbon dioxide. Definitely not too great for the planet. Things got worse when one Twitter user discovered that Kylie Jenner had used her jet for a flight that was only 3 minutes long. There is an account on Twitter that goes by the username @celebjets, which tracks and tweets celebrity private air travel. They logged a journey that Kylie Jenner took from Camarillo, California to Van Nuys, California. The journey by car would have been around 42 minutes and the duration of the jet ride was only 3. Well, you may say, "Oh, she has nice things, let her use them." To me, it's like the entire concept of a smart home. You have all these gadgets that do all these things that you could easily just do yourself. You need to consider if it's really worth going to the trouble of damaging the environment just for the sake of a little bit more convenience. Just have your private driver take you the 42 minutes. Social media has been in an uproar over this situation throughout the past week, so let's take a look at some more tweets that were directed towards Kylie Jenner and her jets. One of the most popular tweets said, "Kylie Jenner out here picking which color private jet she want to take today. Meanwhile, I gotta chug my iced coffee before my straw becomes paper mache. Explain." Others said things like, "Europe is on fire. Meanwhile, Kylie Jenner is making 15-minute trips in her private jet. I could recycle everything, buy all my clothes secondhand, compost and grow my own food for the rest of my life, and it wouldn't even begin to offset the footprint from one of her flights." The user making reference to more methods that have been recommended over and over again for combating climate change. Some people actually seem to not be overly bothered by Kylie's flight, mostly being people who are overall not bothered by the concept of climate change or don't even think that it's real. One reply to that last tweet said, "But you're poor and she's rich. Relax." The Kardashian-Jenner family are no stranger to scandal and controversy, their careers being marked with it since the very beginning. Kylie and Travis don't seem to have commented on the situation up to now, and I honestly doubt that they will given their status.
Is Kylie Jenner trying too hard to be relatable? Recently, the reality megastar has been catching a bit of flack from those on TikTok after a video she posted reviewing one of her new Kylie Cosmetics lip blushes. In the clip, Jenner is seen sitting in the front seat of her car reviewing her lip blush, even dropping her phone, applying the lip blush in her car. While a lot of people were just excited for some new Kylie content and some new makeup, there were others who took a bit of umbrage with the 25-year-old billionaire, claiming that the reality TV icon was trying to play up being humble, attempting to mimic popular TikTokers making videos in their car on their lunch break in the parking lot from work. One user on TikTok @PlasticChandler said, "It's interesting because it's like, you're a billionaire girl, why are you reviewing lip kits in your car when you live in a multi-million-dollar home?" He continued saying, "You didn't just go to the store and pick that up. You didn't get home from somewhere and get it from your mailbox. That was very deliberate of going to your car to film that, and the phone drop was kinda cringy. This is not something Kylie Jenner does on the normal. I promise she doesn't just sit in her car." So obviously there was a little bit of pushback, but what did Jenner herself have to say? Kylie offered this as a response, suggesting there wasn't really as much planning as the negative reception thinks, saying, "It's really not that deep or calculated. This video took me 5 5 minutes to make, and yes, I still drive and do normal things. This isn't the first time Jenner's caught a bit of heat for trying too hard to be relatable. Just in July, she posted another TikTok of her taking her daughter shopping at Target for a surprise toy trip. But people suspected that the TikTok was to distract from the ongoing scandal of how often she used her private jet for short trips, with one user even commenting that Kylie is cosplaying as a middle-class person. Some even questioned if in the Target video Kylie had rented out the space, as it looked surprisingly empty. Whatever the case may be, the 25-year-old billionaire is just going to keep getting bigger, so whatever she's doing is working, relatable or not.
And as it turns out, there are actually plenty of celebs who use their jets for trips that last only a few minutes. With so many people talking about it, there have been various lists made to expose the celebrities, like all those who have taken under 20-minute jet flights and those who have taken the most private flights so far this year. When this was revealed, many people were shocked by the people that they saw on this list, especially when they saw that Taylor Swift has taken the most flights above anybody else. So let's take a look at an overview of the situation and what people on social media have had to say. The sustainable marketing agency known as Yard is responsible for providing the information of which celebrities took the most private jet flights this year. They provided a top 10, so let's go through them. At number 1, we of course have Taylor Swift, followed by Floyd Mayweather, Jay-Z, A-Rod, Blake Shelton, Steven Spielberg, Kim Kardashian, Mark Wahlberg, Oprah Winfrey, and Kylie's boo Travis Scott barely scraping into the number 10 spot. Kylie herself not actually making the list due to her flights being so short. The list gives us the total flight time, average flight time, estimated carbon emissions, and shortest flight of the year. So let's take a look at Taylor's. And let me note that all of these recordings are only from this year so far. Taylor has a total flight time of almost 30,000 minutes or 16 full days spent in the air, and her shortest flight this year was 36 minutes from Missouri to Nashville. Her average flight time is around 80 minutes and her total carbon emissions over 8,000 tons, which is 1,100 times more than one person's total annual emissions. To contrast, Travis Scott in number 10 has a total of around 3,000, still a lot but less than half of T-Swizzle. Due to the firestorm that was suddenly directed at her from the release of this list, her team were quick to try and combat some of the negativity. A spokesperson for her put out a statement saying, "Taylor's jet is loaned out regularly to other individuals. To attribute most or all of these trips to her is blatantly incorrect." So basically what they're saying is that Taylor's jet might be going on all these flights, but she's not always on them. Eve6 even took to making a joke regarding this comment, saying, "I feel bad and need to come clean about something. Taylor Swift has been loaning me her private jet and I've been taking that thing everywhere. To the CVS down the street, quick getaways to Bruges, don't crucify her for being cool to her best friend." Despite this attempt at cooling down the situation, the internet has not lessened up in their criticism of the singer. Various different comments and memes taking over social media in regards to the situation. The most common ones I've seen are usually captioned things like Taylor Swift when she needs to walk to the kitchen, with a video of Taylor in a jet. Other messages on Twitter said things like, "Listen, I also like Taylor Swift's music, but no one should have a private jet. You can have a propeller plane or you can get on a commercial jet. Because frankly, no one should have private jet money." And "Confiscate Taylor Swift's private jet and make her travel across the Atlantic in a dinghy boat if she loves salt air that much." None of the other celebrities on the list have been targeted as harshly as her, and it may be because Taylor Swift was probably an unexpected name to be at the top. At least unexpected to me anyways. Taylor herself doesn't seem to have made any comments toward the situation, so that's all I have for you for now.
The Ace family's Catherine McBroom is getting a ton of backlash right now online after she announced that she had removed her own IUD. And of all places to share this information, Catherine decided to do it on Snapchat. Although she didn't just pull it out and that was it, Catherine also decided to share her experience in using IUDs and detailed what she believed were the drawbacks. Her and Austin got married back in 2015 and went on to have 3 children together. However, not that long ago, she also decided to have an IUD put in, but then says that this was the worst mistake of her life. In the Snapchat post, Catherine Catherine writes, "For years I haven't really had a period due to pregnancies and breastfeeding, and when my period would come back they would be long lasting and painful, so I decided to get an IUD about a year and a half ago when my son was born, and it was the biggest mistake. The hormones released in my body have caused so much damage. I also haven't had my period for the past 8 months. I got a download the other day that I needed to immediately remove it to get myself healthy again. I read it was difficult to take it out yourself, but that didn't stop me. When I got it out, it was like my body gave it right up. I cried of happiness knowing my body was finally going to be happy and thank me, anything but this." Okay, don't do this. I don't want to be a man telling women what to do with their bodies, but I'm pretty sure this is something you're supposed to make a doctor's appointment for. I only say this because I care, and I really fear that there might even be some of her fans out there that will now think that ripping out your IUD is fine, and people on the internet are in agreement on this one. Dev Noodles posted Catherine's Snapchat story as well, and in the comments people said things like, "This is really dangerous and should only be done by a doctor," with another adding, "Talks about how the IUD wreaked havoc on her body, then rips it out in a bathtub with her bare hands." That makes sense. I mean, pretty much every comment was saying this. Another added, "Please don't take the IUD out yourself. This is a horrible thing to share. It's very misleading. She got lucky, but taking it out yourself can cause damage. Go to a professional, ladies." There were a few things that she said that I was also taken aback by. First of all, what in the world does she mean when she says that she got a download that told her she needed to remove it? And also, she said that she did some research on this first, and despite everyone telling her how difficult it was, she did it anyway, which is crazy. She's applying an "I can do anything I put my mind to" attitude to a medical procedure. That's like reading how difficult it is to perform brain surgery, but you're like, challenge accepted. I could probably do this in my bathroom. Who thinks like that?
Recently, Kylie Jenner fell under fire when it was revealed that she took a trip in her private jet that had only lasted a few minutes, all just to skip an around 42-minute car ride. People on the internet were incredibly angry at this revelation and started calling Kylie Jenner a climate criminal, saying that the amount of carbon emissions from the jet was going to greatly contribute to climate change, pollution, and global warming. All of this came thanks to a tweet from a Twitter account called Celeb Jets, which tracks and reports air travel done by celebrities in their private jets. Thankfully for Kylie Jenner, some of the heat may be off her, as at the end of the last week, Celeb Jets exposed another celebrity for unnecessary air travel and emissions, this time heading to Canada and taking a look at artist Drake's jet travel. Last Friday, the celebrity took a flight from Hamilton to Toronto that lasted only 14 minutes. For those of you who don't know Canadian geography, which even I really don't, and I've lived here my whole life, that's around a 70-kilometer trip and about an hour journey by car depending on the traffic. He made the trip in his personal Boeing 767 worth a whopping $185 million. It turns out that this wasn't the first time he had made this trip either. He went from Hamilton to Toronto on an 18-minute trip on July 12th, a 14-minute trip on June 28th, and a 16-minute trip on June 17th. I wonder if he complains when the flight takes a few extra minutes. The Twitter account Celeb Jets also tracks the estimated carbon emissions of each flight, Drake's being estimated at around 5 tons of carbon dioxide per trip. People on Twitter noting just how ridiculous this is, saying Drake just flew 14 minutes on his private jet and made 4 tons of CO2 emissions. That's the same amount of emissions the average person makes in a year. It would have taken an hour to drive the same distance. This is criminal. Ian Borsuk, a climate campaign coordinator, said, "One flight can undo the efforts of hundreds of thousands of people, and you have to ask, is the convenience really worth it?" Well, apparently to many celebrities, it is. Drake and Kylie are not the only celebs to be on the list of those that have taken under 20-minute flights. It also includes the likes of Floyd Mayweather and Kenny Chesney. Many people also found this even more shocking due to what Drake did last year. He partnered with Aspiration to become a global leader in confronting the climate crisis. Pretty interesting considering he seems to be causing the climate crisis. The partnership was apparently to help and encourage Drake to reduce his carbon footprint by changing his schedule social, events and travel, and even taking part in reforestation efforts. At the time of the partnership, Drake said, "It's exciting to partner with a company that's found an easy way to offer everyone the ability to reduce their carbon footprint. Aspiration's innovative approach to combating climate change is really inspiring, and I hope together we can help to motivate and create awareness." I guess it was not inspiring enough, and the only awareness he created was awareness to the fact that celebrities seem to be abusing their means of convenience. Joe Sandberg, co-founder of Aspiration, had this to say at the time: "Drake isn't just ahead of the curve, he defines the curve. He is showing that people who live larger than life can live that life responsibly. Even more importantly, he will be leading by example as he shows his fans how spending and saving with Aspiration can easily eliminate their carbon footprint." It is all just so incredibly ironic now. Now we know that when Kylie Jenner was found out, social media tore her apart. So let's take a look at what some other people on Twitter had to say about Drake. One person said, "Hey, @Drake, you're pretty awesome and all, but damn, can you think about the future of our planet please? Private jet to Hamilton, more carbon footprint for this than most in 1 year. Not cool, man, not cool." Another said, "In light of me being 26 now, I have officially made as much of a carbon footprint over the span of my life as Drake does in a week with his private jet alone. But I'm supposed to use paper straws?" Many people continuing to make reference to these small things that we are often suggested to do to combat climate change, while celebrities and large companies seem to be having the most impact on the environment. Another person realizing this said, "Something like 70% of the world's CO2 comes from big corporations. Drake's private jet alone dumped like 26 tons of CO2 into the atmosphere in 1 week. An average American produces 7 tons of CO2 per year. Unless the wealthy are stopped, our contributions mean nothing." And that is actually true. A report from the Carbon Disclosure Project in 2017 revealed that just 100 companies were responsible for 71% of all carbon emissions since 1988. Pretty impressive. On that depressing note, I'll end the video and tell you that Drake has currently made no comment about the situation. As I've said before, Meghan Markle is one of those people where it seems like you either love her or you hate her. Unfortunately for her, it seems that in recent history, most people seem to be on the side of not liking her very much. After she married into the royal family via Prince Harry, she seems to have stirred up a lot of drama within the royal unit. And despite her and her husband opting to leave the royal life behind because of this, it seems that the drama has just continued to grow. Most recently, she created a podcast that many listeners and critics alike thought was just not that great at all. Since then, she has remained in the public eye and has continued to appear in more and more interviews and publications. In one of her most recent ones, she said something that has people calling her out. But not just regular internet haters. Nelson Mandela's own grandson even commented on her actions, so let's take a look at what happened there. In an interview with The Cut, she told them about a conversation that had taken place when she was in London in 2019 for the premiere of the live-action Lion King film, which was absolutely a terrible movie, and I could do a whole video on that, but that's not for this channel. A South African cast member of the film apparently said the following to her: "When you married into this family, we rejoiced in the streets the same we did when Mandela was freed from prison." If you're not aware, under apartheid, Nelson Mandela served a total of 27 years in prison for treason and sabotage before he was finally released. Mandla Mandela, Nelson's grandson, believes that she may have just been making up that entire situation. Him saying his grandfather's celebration was based on overcoming 350 years of colonialism with 60 years of a brutal apartheid regime in South Africa, so it cannot be equated as the same. He also said that Meghan was trying to be like his grandfather, saying, "Every day there are people who want to be Nelson Mandela, either comparing themselves with him or wanting to emulate him. But before people can regard themselves as Nelson Mandelas, they should be looking into the work that he did and be able to be champions and advocates of the work that he himself championed." It's not just Mandela's grandson that is furious about her allegedly made-up comments. People on the internet have been calling her out ever since the interview was released. Messages on Twitter said things like, "Meghan Markle's lack of self-awareness is incredible. Mariah Carey called her a diva because because that's what she is. What Meghan wants, Meghan gets. Allegations she bullied staff, dramatic storm out of the royal family, comparing herself to Mandela, the Oprah stuff, she's nuts. And the narcissistic comparison with Mandela is especially gross. The man was incarcerated in a remote prison, and Meghan Markle felt she was held prisoner by charity galas and royal receptions in Britain, trading in queen and country for wackery and wokery in Hollywood. While many point out the fact that she herself didn't make the comparison, I think it's weird enough that she would restate it again in this interview, because that's basically like her saying she agrees with it, at least to a small degree. In the same interview, Meghan went on to say a few different things that were pretty shocking, including accusing multiple people of calling her son the N-word, though she doesn't give any details about who it might have been. She replies that when they moved to California and Harry was feeling like he lost his father during the event, she says that the place they were living was the home equivalent of billionaires dressing down in denim, which would rightfully upset normal people who are constantly stressing about paying the bills, and young adults who will probably never be able to afford any home in this economy.
Influencers like this are a danger to society. We can't have her influencing people to do things like this. At first, when I heard about this, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I thought, oh, she probably had it removed at the doctor, and now she's just showing it in the photo for, I don't know, dramatic effect. However, she says in her own post that she read it was difficult to take out, but that didn't stop her. So what else am I supposed to infer from that other than the assumption that she just pulled this out in her bathtub and then made a Snapchat story about it? That to me is almost the part of this that's the craziest. She must have been in so much pain, but fought through that to make a Snapchat story? I mean, my god. Another user shared my disgust on this and said on Twitter about the situation, "Not Catherine McBroom influencing girls to remove their contraceptive IUDs at home themselves instead of having it removed by a healthcare professional. That could literally result in someone harming themselves. The McBroom family are an absolute mess." With another adding, "She took it out herself. If a doctor put it in, why wouldn't you have a doctor take it out? It's cool to discuss the bad side effects of birth control, but this promotion of doing it yourself isn't it, and I don't even know where to start with the downloaded part."
Number 10, Lizzo. According to TikTok user Taryn Hart, she and her mother were very excited when they won meet and greet Lizzo tickets on a radio show, as well as tickets to go to her concert in Dallas. After queuing for 3.5 hours, Taryn said that she finally got to meet her idol, but it was not the experience that she expected. Right away, she walked in and complimented Lizzo, saying, "OMG, you're so beautiful and you're even prettier in person." But instead of responding or saying thank you, apparently Lizzo just nodded her head in silence. Then her mother said, "I love your music and I love listening to it on the radio." And Lizzo's response was, you guessed it, more silent nodding. Taryn said the woman did not say anything. She didn't speak. Right after she nodded, she turned and smiled for the picture. After waiting 3.5 hours, that was all we got. I didn't even hear what Lizzo actually sounds like. While this experience must have been disappointing, it sounds like she was just exhausted and not necessarily trying to be rude. Number 9, Hailey Bieber. Being a waitress at a fancy restaurant will sometimes give you the chance to meet celebrities when you're working. TikToker Julia Carolan was working at a fancy restaurant in Manhattan and documented her bad experience with Hailey Bieber. In the video, she said, "This is going to be controversial, but I've met her a handful of times and each time she was not nice. I really want to like her, but I have to give her a 3.5 out of 10. Sorry." When the video went viral, Hailey eventually saw it and quickly took to the comment section of the video to apologize. She said, "Just came across this video and wanted to say I'm so sorry if I've ever given you bad vibes or a bad attitude. That was not ever my intention." She also added that she'd like to apologize to Julia in person and thanked her for calling her out. Now obviously there's no excuse for that behavior, but unlike the Jenner sisters, at least Hailey took some form of accountability. Number 8, Alexa Snap. A former Hollywood stylist by the name of Tamaran dished the dirt on her TikTok page and spoke about the worst stars that she's ever had to work with. She rated the Pitch Perfect star Alexa Snap a 1 out of 10 and said, "There's some celebrities who don't pay because they think their name is enough, and out of the Pitch Perfect cast, that was Alexa Snap." Tamaran helped put together her outfit for the 2015 MTV Movie Awards. She said, "Whilst being fitted in this dress, Alexis decided it would be wonderful to eat a slice of chocolate ice cream cake. Part of the cake melted onto the dress, and guess who had to clean it?" The stylist then revealed that a certain designer had lent the actress $1,300 worth of jewelry to wear on the red carpet, but when it came time for her to return the jewels, Alexis said that she couldn't find it. And on top of all of that, she wanted all the services for free. Tamaran said, "When my boss asked for payment, Alexis responded with, 'I needed to pay you?' Talk about nightmare." Number 7. Justin Bieber. TikTok user named Franathan opened up about the time that she and her family met Bieber, and surprise surprise, he was a massive D-bag. She said, "For some context, in 2010 my family was selected as one of the families that gets to go on a sick kids trip to Walt Disney World. This is because my younger sister had cancer." Franny went on to say that one of the celebrities on this trip was Justin Bieber, and then she showed a photo of her family posing next to him. She said, "He was a D then and he's a D now. He was exceedingly rude to my sister. You could definitely tell that Justin was only there because his press people said it would look good for him to mingle with the sick kids. Keep in mind that there were kids that were in much worse condition than my sister, and literally every single family had the exact same experience with this kid." In the comment section of the video, you could see a lot of people were divided over how they felt about this story. Some fans defended Justin because he was only 16 at the time, but others weren't so forgiving. Number 6. Mel Gibson. A 25-year-old former barista who goes by the name of Maddie Ray posted on TikTok about her horrible encounter that she had with Mel Gibson in 2018. She was working at an upscale cafe in downtown Vancouver when he walked in. She said she didn't recognize him at first, but said that he was loud, he was rude, and just generally unpleasant. Maddie said, "As he was ordering, he was leaning in very close to my face, and in the middle of his order he burped right in my face and just carried on as if nothing happened. If that wasn't bad enough, apparently he didn't even tip. She only realized who he was after her co-worker had recognized him, but she said that it was an interaction she would never forget." While I will say this encounter seems particularly gross, especially with the burping, something about it is very on brand for Mel Gibson when you compare it to other stories about him. Number 5. Dove Cameron. A former film extra and dancer named Cameron posted on TikTok about the time that he lived in Vancouver, and he got hired to be a background dancer in the Disney movie Descendants 3. He talked about the horrible experience he had working with Dove, saying, "Every second we were not filming, she was making out with her boyfriend, to the point where they were doing push-ups on top of each other on set, and we were all waiting for her." But he said the real drama started when the director told him and the group of extras that he was with to look at Dove because in the next scene her character was about to do something bad. He said, "I guess Dove wasn't paying attention because the cameras started rolling and we were staring at her, and she goes, 'Stop, stop, cut, why are they looking at me? They're not allowed to be here.' And apparently she started trying to call security on them to get them kicked out." Okay, this one is completely indefensible, but is it really surprising that a massive Disney star is also massively entitled? It's almost like she knows that she can get away with yelling at the extras. Number 4. Bill Murray. A woman named Adiza Ferris posted on TikTok about the traumatizing moment that the comedian embarrassed her on a flight. She was sitting next to her husband and her newborn daughter when Bill Murray got on the flight. She said, "He looks and he sees that he's sitting next to us and he loses it. He's like, 'I don't want to be on this flight, I don't want to sit next to a baby.' And he was like, 'This is the worst seat in the entire plane.' And I was mortified. I was so scared and so stressed out during the entire flight." To be fair, Adiza does say that she understands not many people would want to sit next to a baby, but apparently her daughter did not make a sound the entire flight as she was fast asleep. At the end of the video, she shows an actual photo that she took of Bill Murray on the plane, looking pretty pissed off. I mean, I can understand why he would be reluctant to sit next to a baby, but there's really no need to try and humiliate her either. Flying with a newborn would be stressful enough as it is. Number 4. Nicki Minaj. Cindy, also known as Sin Cindy on TikTok, is a former customer service representative for a few major airlines at LAX, and she had plenty of run-ins with celebrities over the years. It turns out her experience with Nicki Minaj was not a positive one. In fact, she rated it a 2 out of 10. Allegedly, the rapper did not want to get off the airplane until the flight attendants got off first. Cindy said, "I know some people are gonna come for me for this one, but 2 out of 10. Wouldn't get off the aircraft until everyone else got off, which she can't do because the flight attendants need to get off. I was a fan before I met her, but after that, yeah, no." So it's a little difficult to say why it is that Nicki wanted to be the last person to get off flight, but it might have just had something to do with privacy. As long as she wasn't being super demanding about the request though, I don't really see an issue with this one. Number 3. Naomi Campbell. According to a flight attendant Tom, who goes by the name of TrampTom69 on TikTok, the model is allegedly very concerned with germs on airplanes. As a result, Tom said that he had some mixed things to say about her, but he did call her a hygienic queen, claiming that she sits on napkins whenever she flies to avoid touching the seat, and so she gets points for that. While he didn't go into full details about his experience, judging by her history, we know that Naomi might not be the easiest celebrity to deal with on flights. In 2008, 2008, she was sentenced to 200 hours of community service, all for attacking 2 police officers during an air rage incident at Heathrow Airport. She was traveling in first class and became irate when the captain explained to her why her bag had not been placed on the flight. Prosecutors said that she shouted a number of obscenities at him, tried to kick the police who were summoned to remove her after she ordered the captain to delay takeoff and look for her missing piece of luggage. So that sounds like it would have been a complete mess to deal with. Number 2, Orlando Bloom. The actor was recently exposed by an Apple Store employee on TikTok who goes by the name of Emma-tainment. She posted a video where she rated the experiences that she's had meeting celebrities who've come into the store. Emma gave Orlando a 5 out of 10, mostly for his bizarre behavior. She said, "This guy came in with a motorcycle helmet, went all the way to the back, went to the staircase, which people aren't allowed to go back there unless you're an employee. And I went back there and I said, 'Do you need help with anything?' And then he took off his helmet and it was Orlando Bloom." But apart from that story, there hasn't really been many complaints about how he treats staff. In fact, in 2017, it came out that he unknowingly got a waitress in London fired from her workplace after he slept with her. But when he found out about what happened, he called the venue, apologized profusely, and tried to get her job back. I mean, this doesn't necessarily make him a good guy, but at least he tried to set things right. Coming in at number 1, Jennifer Lopez. The former Hollywood stylist called Tamaran, who has worked for several celebrity stylists from 2008 to 2017, took to TikTok to document her less than pleasant experience with JLo. She said that people who work for JLo aren't allowed to look at her, and there's a reason why she can't hold down a costumer or a seamstress. This lines up pretty well with all the reports of the singer's unpleasant behavior. Apparently, she tries to avoid contact with anyone in the service industry and makes illogical demands. According to a flight attendant for United Airlines, the singer flat out ignored the staff members and didn't even directly respond to them. The employee told Star magazine, "I just said, 'What can I get you to drink?' But Jennifer refused to even acknowledge me. Turned her head away and told her personal assistant, 'Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke,' and she wouldn't even look at me. It was sad. She seems so sweet in her movies." So it's likely that she's very different in real life.
Who did Try Guys as Ned former cheat on his wife with? Ned's infidelity was confirmed on the 27th of September. A few days ago, rumors began swirling that he had cheated on his wife with an employee. The internet went crazy when a video started circulating on social media of Ned kissing the Try Guys producer Alex Herring at a New York City bar. So who is she? Well, Alex is actually one of the most well-known employees of the company, and over the years, she has been featured in many videos. She works under Ned as the associate producer, so yes, there is definitely a gray area there when it comes to the power dynamic. But if that wasn't bad enough, she's engaged to her fiance, Will Taya, and the couple has been together for 10 years. So this story is full of betrayal no matter which way you look at it. Just 2 days after the whole internet caught wind of the situation, Try Guys announced on Instagram that Ned had been fired from the company. The official statement said, "Ned Fulmer is no longer working for the Try Guys. As a result of an internal review, we do not see a path forward together. We thank you for your support as we navigate through this change." After the post, Ned took to his own Instagram confirming that yes, he had cheated on his wife. He said, "Family should have always been my priority, but I lost focus, and I had a consensual workplace relationship. I'm sorry for any pain that my actions may have caused to the guys and the fans, but most of all to Ariel. The only thing that matters right now is my marriage and my children, and that's where I'm going to focus my attention." Ned's wife Ariel released a statement at the same time, saying, "Thanks to everyone who has reached out to me. It means a lot. Nothing is more important to me and Ned than our family. And all we request right now is that you respect our privacy for the sake of our kids." But if anyone is wondering why Ned's infidelity is particularly egregious news, even the most casual fans of the Try Guys know that Ned Fulmer, who is one of the show's 4 stars, is an official wife guy. It's literally his whole brand. In almost every video, he would gush over his wife Ariel, with whom he has 2 sons, Wesley and Finn. The man even co-authored a cookbook with his wife. So when did people start to suspect that Ned was cheating? The internet conjured up some theories as to why the content creator was not involved in some of their videos for the last couple of weeks. In late September, a Reddit thread popped up with evidence of his infidelity. The theories ranged from Alex and Ned's appearances to direct messages from eyewitnesses of the moment that Ned kissed Alex. In the tweet that prefaced the drama, one user wrote, "Fans begin noticing that Ned has not been present in some of the recent Try Guys projects. Ned does not appear in the past 3 videos or intros. He also was not in the past 3 podcast episodes." As the main producer and one of the faces of the company, fans found this whole thing extremely worrying. Ned was also not featured in the intros of any of the videos. Fans also saw that many of the Try Guys employees, including Keith, Zach, and Eugene, unfollowed Alex and Ned on their social media. Fellow Food Baby and Try Guys senior editor YB Chang also unfollowed them. Alex's fiance Will even unfollowed her and removed all pictures of them together on his Instagram and made his account private. So pretty soon the picture became crystal clear. So what gives? Why does it seem like everyone's getting cheated on lately?
Number 10, Anne Hathaway. A woman by the name of Natasha Singh posted a viral TikTok about the unfortunate incident where she got yelled at by the star of Devil Wears Prada. The story goes that she was at the Oakland airport in California and she had just gotten off a flight and was speaking to her mum on the phone during a layover. She said, "I see this girl that looks familiar. She's dressed in black and she's trying to be low-key, but she made eye contact with me. I couldn't remember her name, so I told my mum on the phone, I think the Princess Diary girl is looking at me." Natasha said at this point she smiled at her because she didn't know what else to do. Then apparently Anne flips out and starts yelling at her because she doesn't want to be looked at. Her assistant then comes over demanding that she stop taking pictures. But because of all the yelling, fans started to swarm around them, and so Anne and her assistant eventually just bolted out of there. To sum up the whole experience, Natasha said she was a complete biatch and made a scene for no reason. Number 9, Machine Gun Kelly. A security guard who goes by the name of Davis, or just DA on TikTok, spoke about his experience with the rapper in 2011 when he was working at the Showbox. He said Tech9 was coming through and MGK was opening for him. Tech9 is a very professional group. They always use their passes. They have a very strict tour manager. MGK was parked out front. Davis went on to say, long story short, there were these stairs and a bar entrance that he couldn't get into. He tried to bust through without an ID, without a pass, and without a shirt. Then he claimed that MGK tried to push through a 150-pound kid with a black belt, but when he realized that he couldn't get through, he ordered his security guard to start beating up the kid. This is when Davis said that he came in with reinforcements and put MGK in a chokehold against the wall. As a result, the rapper got kicked off the tour and banned from Seattle the very next day. So it sounds like he got what he deserved, but I don't think he's changed very much at all since then. Number 8, Nick Cannon. YouTuber Trisha Paytas hopped on that same TikTok trend talking about the time that she met Nick Cannon while she was auditioning for America's Got Talent. She said, "I always heard he was a really nice guy, and I think he was just having the worst day ever when I auditioned." She said she hadn't talked to Nick before the show started, but said that the other judges were really nice, including Howard Stern, Sharon Osbourne, and Howie Mandel. Trisha said, "Nick was horrible. Nick looked at me like I had escaped in there and somehow got past everybody. He literally yelled for security when there was no one around. It was so weird. The judges were all looking and it was hella embarrassing." Apparently Nick proceeded to yell at her and told her that she needed to get the F out of there. This was another classic Trisha Paytas story, which holds up considering that she's auditioned for and been on about a million reality TV shows. Obviously Nick thought she was somehow trespassing backstage because no one told him that she was a contestant. Still, that would have been humiliating for her. Number 7, Kendall Jenner. TikTok user Julia Carolan revealed that the model allegedly assigned someone else to speak for her at restaurants. She said, "This is another one where unfortunately I did not have the best experience with them. Used to come in all the time and was pretty cold towards staff. She also usually has someone else to speak for her and doesn't speak directly to staff. From my experiences with her, I have to give her a 4 out of 10. While it's possible that she might have been having an off day, this story does line up with another incident that occurred in 2014 at Mercer Kitchen in New York City. Kendall was dining at the restaurant with Hailey Bieber when she got upset because the staff wouldn't serve her alcohol, considering that she was underage at the time. So then she left in a hurry without paying for her meal. When the waitress confronted her about it, she apparently threw $20 bills at her. Kendall later admitted that yes, she did forget to pay for her meal, but she denied throwing money at the waitress who chased her. Number 6, James Corden. Last month, the owner of a high-end New York City restaurant called Balthazar made a viral Instagram post blasting James Corden, all for his horrible behavior towards staff. He claimed in one instance James demanded 2 free free rounds of drinks for him and his friends, after he presented a hair that was found on his food and said, "Get us another round of drinks this second, and also take care of all of our drinks so far. This way I won't write any nasty reviews on Yelp." According to the owner, James was so awful that he felt compelled to out him publicly and ban him from the restaurant. In response to the incident, a TikToker by the name of Nasa El Reyes made a video calling him out and said James Corden is a prime example of a red flag in celebrities. He said that the rumors have been boiling about how rude James Corden is behind the scenes, and this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. Nasa went on to say that if a man is rude to the waitstaff, he will be rude to you, which is 100% accurate. Number 5. Kylie Jenner. The former waitress Julia Carolan also exposed Kylie Jenner big time for allegedly being a horrible tipper. Speaking about the experience, Julia said she was fine, but she tipped $20 on a $500 dinner bill. Do with that information what you will. She gave Kylie a 2 out of 10 rating, which was the lowest out of all the other celebrities. The video received millions of likes and thousands of comments, all from people who were as equally disappointed in Kylie's tip as Julia was. Someone commented, "Kylie tipped $20 and she's the youngest billionaire, and I really feel like Kylie thinks $20 means 20%. Ouch." These days there are more and more conversations surrounding tipping culture, and most people can agree that it's a messed up system and restaurants should just pay their waitstaff a living wage. But we can also agree that a so-called billionaire can afford to leave more than a $20 tip. It's not just stingy, it's incredibly disrespectful. Number 3. Tyra Banks. Back with another story from Trisha Paytas. This one was about her horrible experience going on Tyra's talk show in the 2000s. She started her TikTok saying, "I usually try to give celebrities the benefit of the doubt because you never know if they're having a bad day and people are always pushing and pulling for their attention. But mine was with Tyra Banks. They paid me and asked me to be on her show in episode 1 of season 5. The producers allegedly told her just to be herself because the episode was supposed to be about natural beauty. Because of that, the producers made her take out all her extensions as well as her fake nails to have her on the show. Trisha said that once she sat down, Tyra became extremely rude for no reason, telling her that her hair was fried and told the producers to get her off the stage because she didn't belong on her show. And to top it all off, apparently they didn't even end up paying for her time. So it sounds like Tyra just straight up didn't like her appearance and didn't care about her feelings enough to continue the show. Number 2. Jessie J. Responding to the hashtag celebrity beef trend on TikTok, a London woman named Nene surprised people with her story about running into the singer at Heathrow Airport. She was there hoping for the chance to meet 5 Seconds of Summer, and then she sees Jessie J just randomly appear at the British Airways check-in desk. She said, "Me being a fan of hers at the time, I literally walked over to her and said, 'Hi,' and then she turned around and gave me the dirtiest look you've ever seen in your life. She then looked at someone next to her and that person said, 'Can you please get away from her?' This honestly ruined her for me. I was such a big fan." After that encounter, Nene said that she was not able to listen to her music since. To be honest, I have to side with the woman here because she's not the only person who's had a bad experience meeting Jessie J. In 2020, Michelle Visage from RuPaul's Drag Race said Jessie was a cold person and she wasn't nice when she came on the show as a guest judge. And coming in at number 1, Cuba Gooding Jr. A TikTok user named Hannah posted a candid video naming and shaming the worst celebrity that she's ever met. She started off the video saying, "I debated not doing this one, but honestly F that and F this guy." She called Gooding Jr. a smug a-hole and said, "This guy came to one of the Fashion Week parties that my magazine was throwing. He actually demanded that we send a car to pick him up, and when we told him that we couldn't, he got absurdly angry." She said that he eventually showed up and had 2 assistants with him, and apparently he sent them out into the crowd to vet and recruit women and bring them back to where he was sitting. Hannah went on to claim that he was forcefully fondling women in the crowd, catcalling people, belligerently drunk, extremely rude to staff, just being gross and really predatory. The crazy thing is that we know this story to be true, as there was even a page 6 article published with multiple witness accounts of the actor's behavior during the party.